Good afternoon, each and every one of you. I'm so glad to be here. I hope you can hear me okay. Man, I'm excited. I have to tell you, today I'm virtually yours. And I'm going to share a few words from my book. Denise has told you a lot about me that a lot of folks don't know. But us being from Barbados and me growing up in the same neighborhood as a grandmother and her family, give me a very interesting perspective on who we are as a people. They were very kind, considerate. I never went hungry because I lived near to them. But today I want to tell you a little something, because in this time, when I say that I'm virtually yours, I mean it sincerely. And I want to talk about your mind for a minute. And I want to read from page 17 of the book, Quote Notes. When I was growing up, I had a very difficult time in many ways. Because I couldn't speak, my mother had to make provision for me, and I questioned her on what she had to do to make sure she could raise me right. And of course, that conversation led to other conversations, and I just want to take this moment to offer a blessing on her journey home, because she recently passed, and I just want to let her know how much I love her, and I will continue to love her through this journey. One thing that she taught me was never let confusion steal your knowledge. And in this time, where we are living in a world filled with chaos and confusion, I want to offer that quote to you for you to live by, effective immediately. My quote is, your mind is a very powerful home. It says, welcome, let's make it happen. My thoughts are responsible for all of the activity in my life. We, as a group of individuals on the planet, need to pause and recognize that the first steps taken on a daily basis come from our mindset. Someone asked me if I ever left home naked. My response was, not recently. But have you ever thought that it is your mind that helps or hurts you in the changing course of time? If you do not take time to dress and walk out of the house, then your life will change forever. I live daily in my mind, dissecting ideas, thoughts, and opportunities, until at last my mind agrees with my position and how to create a win-win situation. My grandmother was very proficient in helping me to mold my mind. She saw goodness in me and gave me the nickname Joel. She told me this would be my path in life and I would be very special. Turns out to be true. She would always take me to work on the plantation when she had an opportunity. I knew she was keeping an eye on me because she knew my mind was quick, and at a young age this could be a source of help or hurt. My topic today is to read more, learn more, change the world. This is what I do because it is necessary for me to understand who I am. And today we celebrate African American Reading Chain. African American. According to an article in the New York Times, a gentleman by the name of Keith Beard, Dr. Keith Beard, worked tirelessly for us to be named African American or black as opposed to Negro. He was also one of the first people, or the one that brought Swahili into America. And today I read as much as I can to get enough information so that confusion does not permeate my mind. I continue to move forward and with an understanding that I am special, that I am unique. And I offer you today for you to take consideration in this matter, and you determine if you are unique regardless of what is going on in your life. Yes, I'm an encourager. Why? Because it allows me to remember that being an encourager allows me to encourage myself. Many times I was confronted in the streets by people who felt that they could call me any kind of name, but I would ignore them. When you call a black man a nigger and he agrees with you, he will respond. It doesn't take a lot for negative to permeate the world. We have to pause and reconsider our value in relationship to God. I'm not talking religion here. I never speak of religion. Why? Because when I look at the behavioral model, it looks like someone somewhere somehow didn't agree with the original conversation that's in the Bible, and they disagreed and decided we're going to go in a different direction. But if love remains in the center, you don't have to make an announcement. You know that as a black individual, you own the right to be called champion. You have to take a second look at how you're thinking. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. I know Patricia doesn't talk much about herself, but I'm going to talk about her because I've got the mic. Wonderful person, extremely wonderful, but be careful. Do not mess with her. She's very intellectual, very heart-driven, and very logical. I am honored to call her my friend, along with her husband. You have to continue to grow spiritually, emotionally, practically. Don't let anyone steal your knowledge, not even confusion. When I was going in the direction of online media, all digital media, I went home to Barbados. I was excited. And I went to see my friend, and I said to him, I have this thing that I want to share with you. And not only was he my cousin, he was one of my renegade buddies in the street, preaching to people day and night, and causing all kinds of problems, but bringing people into the church. Because we knew that they were special. The one thing that I know is that I continue to let you know now that you remember that you are special, especially now. So me being here tonight and this afternoon to say to you that you are unique and that you're God-driven, that your purpose originated with a living God. When you set out and you go on a journey, I know there's a lot of confusion today about, does Jesus exist? Was he real? But I go a little further. I say, well, if you don't believe Jesus exists, let's look at the conversation he brought into society. Are there any accusatory statements within his voice that told you you were no good? You will never be anything. If you can find that and solidify that and have a conversation, then we can talk. January began for a lot of us, and we had the condition of hope, 2021. And we all thought that things would get better, and they will get better. They have to. Because God laid down a promissory note for us to understand that tough times never last. Only tough people do. And I'm concerned about all of you. Why? I love people. I do. I cannot tell you I don't. Sometimes they frustrate the heck out of me. I frustrate the heck out of them too. And not everyone returns the favor of love or consideration. But what keeps me going is because I understand from reading. And today this reading chain is important because I want you to begin again effective today. I read in the notation that the service is subject to change by the leading of the Holy Spirit. And it's true. I had many topics, but today God hit me on the head and said, Aubry, listen to me. This is what you're going to do for me. We quarrel every now and then because I have a love relationship with God. And He loves me. So I don't want you to be concerned about what is in front of you because God got your back. Don't look back. Don't let that salt destroy you. The fear factor is false evidence that appears real. If it doesn't seem real, it will not have any impact on you. Read, study what you read. Take ownership of what you read. Because if you don't take ownership, it's somebody else's conversation. When I worked on starting the publishing company, the goal was to publish my literature. And I didn't start writing yet, but one day I got on an elevator at work. I used to work for the Unified Court System. I want to take a moment to shout out all of the court officers and the judges and all of those folks up there in New York City. And enthusiasm was my daily thing. One day a young lady, I would always be encouraging people like Denise said. I would walk through the corridors, I'm looking at a person, if they didn't look at it, I said, what's wrong with you? Did you eat? Because I know sometimes people come to work and they don't eat. Because we don't get paid sometimes enough to be able to eat and drink. But we keep that to ourselves sometimes. But if you have someone that you can trust that will not go and tell other people your business, they will help you. Now, one more thing, very important. You have to remember, and I said it briefly, the most important thing you have to remember is to study to show yourself approved. If you read, like this, the topic is read more, learn more, change the world. As a professor, I told students, if you're going to talk about change, you must assess what is the problem. If you don't know what the problem is, what are you going to change? And one of the most important questions that I ask them is to research to see if it is what my grandmother would say, that's purpose work. In other words, was that problem created on purpose, or did it begin to escalate because of lack of attention? And as you do your preliminary research, you will see the same thing. You are the first product. You represent that change that needs to be seen because you're the first product. You hear people say, I'm a product of my mother, I'm a product of my father, I'm a product of the company, I'm a product of this. What does that look like in your head when you're thinking about you? How do you see yourself as a product? That's the first question you've got to ask yourself. Because you are a product. I was born in Barbados, and in Barbados, that's the place that they told us we would be nothing. Slavery. I said, oh really? And I was born 3 years before independence. Uh-oh, I just told my age. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. I know and I understand and I love the fact that I am a Bajan. I will live, as one of my friends told me yesterday, I will live and die as a Bajan. A human capital value to the world. That is who I am. You can call me author, publisher, speaker, adjunct professor, but the one thing that I do and do well and enjoy more than anything in the world, as people would say, whether I'm rich in the moment, broke, busted, and disgusted in the moment, but I'm never broken because I'm still alive. I think we have to look at our language, our linguistics. How do we think about ourselves as a product? How do we live? And more importantly, no matter what, take a second look at your relationship with God. Don't listen to anybody else, no preacher, no pastor, no religious thing. You have to check in. Just like you check in for work, you have to check in. Every morning I deliberately check in with God, whether or not I'm feeling good, I'm feeling bad. This is a personal conversation I'm having with you. How do I stay enthusiastic? Why am I always excited? It's simple. Enthusiasm is God within. And as I close today, I beseech you to take a second look at yourself. Someone asks, what's the title of my book? Quote notes, 40 quotes for successful living. This book is my daily reminder of how special I am. A day cannot and never will go by that I cannot create enthusiasm for myself because I wrote this book. And I use it as a memory. As a matter of fact, up the street is in the library. Because we were doing some stuff at the library, or kind of a book club until COVID set in. Now the library is closed. But it's also available on Kindle if you're looking for it, the person that asked the question. But again, have a personal conversation. Check yourself as a product. What do you look like? How do you manage? Write something good about yourself every day. In my class, when I ask students to tell me something good about themselves, of the 10 steps in my workshop program, that is the most difficult one. And it's concerning to me that you cannot or refuse to, unable to, say something good about yourself. One statement. Tell yourself something good so that when life hampers you, go back and see that you're good. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to engaging you in the future. Take care.